Hey, everybody, welcome to Poduty in the News for Monday, July 28th, 2025. We've got the Auntie Show, still a Rogen, Mike check in the Middle East, Cannonball advice.
They're back in the park, Brunson and Hart, roommates live, gonna make it art. From Dubai to the desert, podcasters rise, youth are learning how to amplify. Nick Cannon's wild with Raven and Hannah, Lug gets messy with late night banter. Higher Ed goes all in on the cast, college voice legacy that lasts. Auntie shows jumping Auntie pride, Fringe Fest fans along for the ride. Rogen and Stiller bring Emmy vibes in Beverly Hills where the pod light shines. Jeff Revilla's on the mic, you know the name, bringing live podcast news to the Hall of Fame. With a smirk and a spark, he sets the tone. Poduty in the news, you're never alone.
Hey, everybody, I'm Jeff. I'm your host. We have Poduty in the News for Monday, July 28th. 6 great stories. Now, we started this podcast as a way to share live podcasting news with you around the world using live podcasting events from people like you around the world. We do this because we have a theater outside of Pittsburgh where we're producing live podcast events, as you see behind me, those watching the video. We have a whole theater dedicated to DIY independent podcasting. You can perform your podcast live in front of an audience and live stream it. Head over to poduty.com, Poduty.com, and check out what we're doing over there. Our first story tonight, Brunson Hart and Central Park, the roommates return. This one comes to us from Secret NYC. The roommates are back and bringing the block party vibes with them. New York Knicks star Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart are returning to Central Park's Rumsey Playfield on September 6th for the second annual Roommates Block Party, a live taping of the Roommates Show podcast. With 5,000 fans expected, this year's event ups the star power with guests like Eli Manning, Ben Stiller, a live performance by Ferg, plus fans can grab a drink, enjoy the food, and dive into sponsor activations. All with that unmistakable New York energy. Year 2 is looking legendary. Check this out. Another event, a live podcast being recorded. Just a great way to connect with your fans and use your podcast as a platform to build off of other things. In this case, the podcast has become an event, and they're able to connect with their fans in a way that you just couldn't do it only uploading an MP3 file once a week. Live podcasting is the future. Our second story coming from the Middle East, Mike check from the Middle East. The Dubai Press Club has kicked off the second edition of its Arab podcast program, a 5-week immersive training designed to equip young Arab creators with all the tools they need to dominate the podcasting world. From branding and recording to marketing and distribution, participants are diving deep into the craft, backed by personalized feedback from industry experts. It's part of Dubai's bigger vision to turn the city into a global hotspot for digital content, one mic at a time. Now, this isn't quite a live podcasting event, but it's an event where they're featuring podcasting and they're training the future generations, people who are going to come through and be the next digital creators. Check us out. Chances are there's events like this in your area if you're interested in getting into podcasting, or just meeting other podcasters, future podcasters. Check out events like this where they're training the future of podcasters. Our third story tonight from Inside Radio. This one's called Cannonball Advice. Nick Cannon is crashing into the podcast scene with a wild new spin on the classic call-in advice show, where no relationship question is too messy and no topic is off limits. Each week, he's joined by comedians, experts, and trusted friends to dish out unfiltered love and sex advice, all with a late-night twist. Kicking things off, his first 2 guests were none other than Raven-Symoné and Hannah Stocking, proving this show is bringing the star power and the spice. So if you look at this, it is a podcast format based on kind of a late-night TV set. It's a YouTube series. They're calling it like this hybrid of a podcast and a late night show. So check it out. You can see it on YouTube. I'm sure it's adult content, so be warned. I wouldn't listen in the car with your kids. And our fourth story tonight from rss.com, class is in session. Higher Ed goes full podcast mode. The first ever Higher Ed PodCon brought 150 educators, producers, and podcast pros to Chicago to explore how podcasting is reshaping higher education. From student-led shows to university-branded series, the event was packed with 18 sessions, a powerful keynote by Dr. Aisha El-Amin, and insights from experts like Matt Abrams and Kate Young of Purdue's This Is Purdue. With storytelling, branding, and digital engagement front and center, the message was clear. Class isn't just in session, it's being recorded. So this is an event pulling together podcasters in a specific niche in the higher education, and they're bringing people together. They're having events and they're doing live shows. There's events during the show. They're having a good time meeting people who are like-minded in the same field. So chances are, whatever you're talking about, there is a conference that relates to it. And I've been telling people, try to connect with those conferences, offer to do your show on a side stage, start to make those connections to build that presence to be more in real life. IRL is the goal. Our fifth story, this one's a little bit meta. I like this one. This is the Auntie show steals the Fringe spotlight. So somebody wrote a play about somebody doing a live podcast. So opening night at the Winnipeg Fringe Festival was owned by the Auntie show, a hilarious, heart-filled play about three Indigenous aunties hosting their own podcast and telling it like it is. Written by Joe McDonald and produced by Broken Record Productions, this sold-out hit blends sass, storytelling, and satire, delivering laughs while dismantling pop culture tropes and taking a jab at the manosphere. The aunties say it like only the aunties can, and audiences are loving every minute. Just a little meta story. How often do you hear about a play being written that's about a podcast? I just wanted to throw the story in there. Just thought it was fun. And check it out if you're up in Winnipeg. And our final story tonight, Stiller and Rogen reunite for an Emmy-loaded laugh source. This comes to us from The Hollywood Reporter. Get ready for Hollywood's funniest minds to go deep on the mic. Ben Stiller and Seth Rogen are teaming up for a live taping of the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast with host Josh Horowitz on August 15th in Beverly Hills. With Severance and the studio racking up a combined 50 Emmy nods, the onstage convo promises a behind-the-scenes peek at the brilliance, chaos, and comedy powering two of Apple TV's biggest hits. Expect laughs, insights, and maybe a few surprise truths from these two award show titans. Two great shows, obviously, from Apple TV. If you can get two guests for your podcast right now, these will be the two that you'll want. Check this out if you're in the area if you're in Beverly Hills on August 15th. It's got to be a crazy show. Just to hear the behind the scenes, how do their minds work? How do they put these shows together? And thank you. This has been Poduty in the News for Monday, July 28th. That's going to wrap it up. I'm your host, Jeff Revilla. Check out what we're doing in Pittsburgh here, poduty.com. We've got the theater. We've got the space. We want you to perform on it. Let's go back to today's theme song.
They're back in the park, Brunson and Hart. Roommates live, gonna make it art. From Dubai to the desert, podcast